Did you know a black inventor helped build the internet you're using right now? Dr. Philip Emeagwali, a Nigerian-American, developed a formula that allowed supercomputers to process calculations faster, a key contribution to what later evolved into the internet. The first person to perform open-heart surgery wasn't who your textbooks claim. In 1893, decades before it became common practice, Dr. Daniel Hale Williams performed the first successful open-heart surgery in history. And here's the kicker, he did it on his kitchen table. The first portable pencil sharpener was invented by a black man. John Lee Love, a carpenter, created the Love Sharpener in 1897, a small, portable, and stylish way to sharpen pencils that became a classroom staple. But that's just the beginning of the incredible stories they never taught you in school. Let me introduce you to Benjamin Banneker, a self-taught astronomer who saved Washington, D.C.'s entire design from being lost forever. When the original architect suddenly quit and took all the plans with him, Banneker recreated the entire city layout from memory. That's right, the nation's capital exists as we know it today because of a black mathematician's extraordinary mind. Did you know that the real-life Iron Man was a black inventor? Lewis Latimer, born to escaped slaves, didn't just improve Thomas Edison's light bulb. He invented the carbon filament that made electric light practical and affordable. Without Latimer's genius, Edison's bulb would have burned out in hours and been too expensive for most people to use. Here's something that will blow your mind. The first person to receive a patent for the modern traffic light wasn't white. Garrett Morgan invented the three-position traffic signal after witnessing a horrible collision. But here's the shocking part. He had to hire a white man to present his invention because companies wouldn't buy from a black inventor. Garrett Morgan also created the gas mask used in World War II. He even tested it himself during a rescue mission in a collapsed tunnel, saving multiple lives. Ever heard of Dr. Charles Drew? His research on blood plasma and storage revolutionized medicine, saving millions of lives during World War II. The tragic irony? He later died from injuries in a car accident, and contrary to popular belief, it wasn't because a white hospital refused to treat him. It was because the accident was so severe. Yet this myth persists because such discrimination was commonplace at the time. Let's talk about Bass Reeves, the real-life inspiration for the Lone Ranger. This former slave became one of the most successful U.S. Marshal in American history, arresting over 3,000 criminals and killing 14 outlaws in self-defense. He was so dedicated to justice that he even arrested his own son for murder. Here's a story that sounds like science fiction. In the 1960s, Valerie Thomas developed the illusion transmitter, which created 3D projections. NASA still uses her technology today, and it's the foundation for modern 3D imaging in surgery, television, and video games. Elevators are safer thanks to a black inventor. Alexander Miles invented a mechanism that automatically closes elevator doors, a breakthrough that helped prevent deadly accidents in early elevator models. Want to know something wild? The Super Soaker, that iconic summer toy, was invented by a NASA scientist named Lonnie Johnson. He originally designed it while working on a heat pump for spacecraft. The toy has generated over $1 billion in sales, but Johnson had to fight for years to get his rightful royalties. Did you know that the first self-made female millionaire in America was a black woman? Madam C.J. Walker built her fortune by developing hair care products for black women. But here's what's really impressive. She employed thousands of black women, giving them financial independence when most couldn't even vote. Let me tell you about Robert Smalls, who pulled off one of the most daring escapes in history. Born into slavery, he commandeered a Confederate ship, sailed it past heavily armed checkpoints using secret signals he had memorized, and delivered it to the Union Navy. He went on to become a U.S. congressman, but his story was deliberately erased from many history books. Get this, the first home security system was invented by a black woman. In 1966, Marie Van Britten Brown developed a system with peepholes, a camera, monitors, and an emergency alarm button, the blueprint for today's home security systems. What if I told you the clothes dryer was patented by a black woman? In 1892, Sarah Boone redesigned the ironing board to better suit women's fashion. Her design is still used today in modern ironing boards. These aren't just fascinating tales. They're proof of the systematic erasure of black achievement from our historical narrative. Each of these innovators, leaders, and pioneers shaped the world we live in today, yet their stories remain largely untold. The next time someone tells you about a first in history, remember, there might be an incredible untold story hiding in the shadows of that achievement. Hit like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more fascinating untold stories.